Hi, I'm Macy.
And I'm Julie.
Welcome to Premium Perspectives, the podcast where we talk about insurance like it is the most exciting thing in the world.
And we all know that it's probably not the most exciting thing, but that's why we're here.
Yeah, you're like, I've probably seen those two blonde girls somewhere at an industry event. So that's us. But before we get more into about the podcast, more about myself and Julie, let's get into a little more about CAA, aka the producer of this podcast, and where we work. Combined Agents of America, or CAA, was founded in 1988 by 7 awesome agents who had a vision and a dream for what an ideal insurance network would look like. And fast forward to present day, we are in fact the only 100% member owned insurance network. And we have 83 awesome independent agents that make up our network across 9 states.
Yep. We have 9 people here on staff, headquartered here in Austin, Texas. And then we also have a branch in Topeka with 3 amazing women who are bombs at what they do. And our fearless leaders, of course, we can't forget AJ Lovett, our CEO, and Nikki Toon, the coup de the ka, our COO.
Yes, coup de the ka.
Coup de the ka.
Amazing. We love them both. So now we're going to introduce ourselves, your hosts. This is my work bestie, Julie, and we have just great chemistry. We're a great duo. Yep. And I'm excited to have you all get to know Julie more.
Yeah. So a little bit about myself, how I got into insurance. I've been doing this a long time. Some would say I was born into insurance. My dad started at Fireman's Fund about 1972. He passed away when I was 5. My mom remarried later in life and happened to marry a man who was also in insurance.
A crazy coincidence.
Very crazy. So yeah, I literally feel like I was born to do insurance. My dad had a small agency in Groves, Texas, and that's where I got my foot in the door. He immediately wanted me to come to work for him. So I've done everything from claims, personal lines, commercial lines, and then into accounting, which is where my heart is. I love it. So from there, my husband and I, Gary, he retired from DuPont. We started a captive agency with Allstate, did that a few years, and Hurricane Rita hit, which was devastating. We decided that, you know what, we've lived in Southeast Texas our whole lives. Hurricanes are not for us anymore. We're out of here. So we decided to move to Austin, Texas. My brother at the time, which you probably don't even know this, why I moved to Austin, Texas. My brother actually was offensive coordinator for UT, had worked with Mac Brown for years and years and years. And we came to football games all the time and fell in love with Austin. Now, granted, this was back in the early 2000s, so Austin was a little different, but we decided this is the place where we wanted to live and raise Logan, who is our youngest son. So we left Southeast Texas and moved to Austin. At that time, I went to work for an agency in Central Austin and stayed there a few years, decided it really wasn't the place for me just due to some sketchy business practices. And I went over to an agency that specialized in professional liability for attorneys. Did that a few years. Gary had started a pool business, and it literally exploded. Thankfully, we were blessed with its success. And he asked me if I would retire from insurance and go to work for him full time. Of course, being in it since 1992, I was like, yes, I am retiring from insurance. I had had enough of it. And so I went to work for him doing all of his accounting. We eventually kind of got bored with it after about 10 years and we decided to sell. And in doing so, I was just scrolling one day and saw an ad on LinkedIn for an accounting position at CAA. A friend of mine actually worked for CAA at the time, so I got in touch with her. She put me in touch with Nikki and with Kara. And once I had the interview, I was in love. I knew that this was the place for me and I wanted to work here. So thankfully the job was offered. I accepted, and a part-time position has now turned into a full-time, very busy workload. And I've been here since 2019. So one of the longest staff members now besides AJ and Nikki. And then I think Joan is right behind me. I think so. So anyways, enough about that. Let me give you some more information about me personally. I live in Dripping Springs, Texas, which happens to be the wedding capital of Texas. We have a lot of wineries, distilleries,
Yeah, Bill Sheik told me, he was like, there is this gin at this distillery in Dripping Springs, and it's so good. And then I told Julie about it, and she's like, oh yeah, I know where that is.
I know exactly what you want.
Him a bottle.
Yeah.
So that's definitely telling of our community.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bill, we've got you. We're bringing you a bottle of gin in July from Dripping Springs Distilling. But anyways, so I've been married to my husband, Gary, for 22 years, almost 23. We have two amazing sons. We have Lindsay, who is 36, and Logan, who is 20, soon to be 21, which we're going to celebrate at the casino for his birthday this year. That'll be fun. And Lindsay is married to my daughter-in-law, Jessica, which some of y'all had the pleasure of meeting last July at Summer Series. She came thinking about getting her foot in the door in insurance. She's still at the credit union right now. Just hasn't happened yet, but she's still interested. And then we have two precious grandchildren. We have Rhett, who is 4, little boy, and we have a granddaughter, Lauren, who is 1. So we're really busy with grandkids and kids. We have a generational household, is kind of like how I like to call it. My husband and I have my mother who lives with us, Judy. And then, of course, Logan still is at home. He's only 20 and Austin is expensive. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, yeah.
We'd be a sight.
Maisie and Coco are going to move in with us. But besides that, I love working in my yard. I love shopping for antiques. Of course, I love visiting all the wineries and distilleries in Dripping Springs. I love entertaining. It's just in my personality to have people over and cook and do all that fun stuff. So I can't think of anything else.
Yeah,
that I like.
I mean, Julie's always hosting a themed party. Her house is like the favorite on the block. Like, it's just great. Yeah. Julie is amazing. I'm so happy.
If there's a theme, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So Joan, we're all in for any theme you come up with for the meetings.
Yeah. No, we love a themed party.
Yeah, always.
We can't lie.
So yeah, I'm going to turn it over to my bestie Macy so y'all can get to know her a little bit more.
Yes. So how I got into insurance was I wasn't born into it. I was definitely it fell into my lap, which I feel like happens for a lot of younger people. But basically I was working at Oracle. It was my first full-time job out of college, and I graduated from UT. Why was I thinking about that? I literally bleed burnt orange, so that's hilarious. But I graduated from their business school with a degree in marketing, and amazing 4 years. I learned so much, met my network. I mean, so many people who went to UT are still in my network, great friends of mine. But yeah, so then I was working at Oracle full time. I worked there for 9 months and was like, I can't do tech sales. I was not made for this. And so the week that I decided I was quitting Oracle, whether I had a new job or not, I met Nikki Toon. And yeah, definitely changed my life meeting that amazing woman. I was like, oh, I don't know her. I'll just talk to her. And we were chatting, and she was like, send me your resume. I think we are looking for somebody just like you. And so let's see if you're a good fit. And I interviewed with her and AJ, and it was a really great fit. They hired me, and my role is operations and communications manager. I'm basically also our marketing department along with Joan. And any email campaign you get from CAA was created by me. So yeah, that's a bit about what I do at CAA, but why I love it is definitely the relationships in the community. We could be in Waco, San Marcos, any city in Texas, any city in any of our states, and be like, oh, we have an agent here. Let's get recommendations for them. Oh, let's see what they're doing. Let's get lunch with them. So just the community is really awesome. And I've also really enjoyed going from like being just a number at Oracle with like, thousands of employees to feeling super valued in our staff. And we have an amazing staff. Our team is great. They work really hard for our members, and I think we're all very servant hearted. So getting to serve our members is honestly an honor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then a little bit more about me personally. I'm a dog mom. I'm not married or have two kids.
Or grandkids.
No, but I have a weenie dog, and she's perfect. So
Coco.
I'm a dog mom.
And y'all will get to meet Coco.
Yes.
We will have Coco on one day. She's going to be our little mascot.
Yeah, she's definitely CA's mascot. Yeah. She's so cute.
She's precious.
Yeah, I live in Austin. Right by the soccer stadium, if you know where that is. I've also sold my soul to the whole Pilates thing. I And definitely in my health and wellness era, as everyone likes to say.
Hopefully that will rub off on some of us.
Yeah, we've implemented a wellness program within our staff, and so we have like challenges we do every month, and it's fun and competitive. And
my partner's AJ.
Julie's partner's AJ, and honestly, that man works out all the time.
He does. He just gets all the steps in.
Yeah.
Both of us.
So that's great. And then my partner is Lisa, who's on our insurance services team. She's amazing. Yeah, our whole Topeka branch. Love so much. Yeah, we'll have a whole episode dedicated to the value add that is CAAIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also very involved in church, love to crochet, which is such a grandma activity. But yeah, walk my dog,
Grandma.
shopping.
She's a grandma.
I go to TJ Maxx. I'm like first one when it opens. I'm truly a grandma. Love to read. A lot of grandma activities. And then of course, like I said, UT alum. So go to all the functions for that. But yeah. So that's a lot about me. And then we wanted to kind of talk about, why are we starting this podcast? What do we hope that you will gain from it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which you are probably all wondering, why is CAA starting a podcast?
Yes.
What is your idea of why we're starting this podcast? What do you?
Yeah. So our team, when we were planning for the upcoming year in 2025, we decided that like our theme for 2025 was going to be the word disrupt. And so we feel like being a kind of like a first mover in this space, like no other network has a podcast, or there's honestly not a ton of insurance
Very few
industry podcast. And so Julie and I, when thinking about like our goals for the year, we were like, this would be really cool if we did it together. Kind of have an industry veteran and a newbie to the industry come together. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of cool guests and topics and just a lot of plans for the podcast. But yeah, we're excited to be a first mover in this space, and just also a little bit about behind the name, premium perspectives. It's kind of the double entendre of like an insurance premium, the term and insurance, and then also premium meaning great and excellent, because CAA is all of those things.
It is. Yeah. I mean, you feel like with the way things are moving and everything is getting very techy, it's all changing so quickly. We need to kind of stay ahead of the game. And since there are no other networks out there doing a podcast, Macy and I just thought maybe this is the right time. Maybe we'll inspire other people to do it. Who knows? Your agency could do it. Reach your customers that way or something. I don't know. But I just feel like this is probably the way we need to be headed. Hopefully we don't bore you. We've never done anything like this before. So we appreciate your patience as we're learning and we're growing and we're trying new things, having different guests on. Hopefully we ask the right questions. We don't know really what you want to hear unless you get involved. So please, if you have ideas, if you have questions, if you have guest ideas, topic ideas, whatever it is, email Macy and let her know. And that way we can kind of, plan around some of that and create some podcasts that y'all want to hear and are interested in, besides just Macy and I talking.
We have our ideas and stuff our staff has come up with. Guests we have lined up for everything from, our own staff to carrier reps to even certain agents. If you want to be on the podcast, hey.
We'd love to have members.
We would love to have you. Even, great people from your staff. You are amazing independent agents. So we're happy to work with that.
If you've got a staff member who I know there are some agencies out there that have little niche departments and like fireworks, you know who I'm talking about. So we would love to have, staff members like that or agents like that on the podcast to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah. Talk about the joy. You found it bring joy.
Oh yeah, I definitely think this will bring joy. I mean, so one of the questions we're going to ask our guests are we've asked of ourselves. And thinking about that, we're not going to tell you yet what it is, but in thinking about that, mine had the word called in it. And so thinking about this 2025 and our goals for 2025, I felt like this was kind of a calling. I know that sounds a little strange for a podcast, but I just felt like this is something that CAA maybe needed. Because we are getting so big, I think this also brings a little bit of a personal touch, and hopefully will bring a little bit of laughter and joy, because Macy and I can be really silly if you know us. We love to laugh, and my laugh is big, so just FYI in case you need to turn your volume down. But I think with just the climate of the world right now, it's a little stressful. Sometimes it can be a little I don't know what other
even
word.
the industry.
Yeah, even in the industry. So I just feel like this will bring some fun into your day. We're going to do this like twice a month. And so I don't know. I just feel like everybody could use a little laughs, a little laughter, and a little joy in their day. And hopefully this will do that for you while you learn something.
Yes.
Or intrigue you, you know.
If you can smile throughout your day and say, I've also learned something. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of our goals. So
it is.
Basically, now we're going to go into a question that we're going to ask every one of our guests on the podcast. And the question is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I love that question.
It's a great question.
It is, yeah.
So, Julie, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
So when Macy asked me this, of course, the first thing that popped into my head was my stepdad. Growing up, he always used to say, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough, which definitely applies to a lot because I was told that a lot in my childhood. Not that I'm dumb, but if I mean, we've all done some pretty stupid things. So when you do stupid things, you got to be tough. But that's not my favorite piece of advice. I actually read a few years back a quote. So I don't know if it's considered advice, but I love it. And it says, don't just be driven, be called. And so that's what I was talking about when I said about this podcast. I feel like it was kind of like something Macy and I were called to do. But in your job, if all you're concerned about is the drive to, and I'm not saying being driven is wrong, not at all. I think we all need a little bit of drive to get things accomplished. But if all you're doing is allowing that drive to be focused on money, title, power, whatever it is that is making you driven, if you're also not feeling a calling, then you are definitely cutting yourself short because your life can be so much more fulfilled if you're doing something that you're called to do. Even if that does end up having the benefits of a good pay, of a title, whatever it is you're looking for, make sure that you're doing something that you're called to do so that you feel a little more fulfilled and you have some happiness in your career. Because without that, you're really just working to work. Money's nice, but I just don't feel like that's the most important thing. And thankfully at CAA, this is definitely a fulfilling career and something that I feel I was called to do. Don't know how long that calling will last. I'm hoping it lasts a long time. I always pick on Nikki and AJ and tell them that I'll be the 80-year-old woman sitting in the office doing the accounting, and they're going to be like, Macy will have me in my little wheelchair. But I'm like, y'all are going to have to force me to leave because I love it here so much. I'm not leaving. So yeah, for me, that's my favorite quote or a piece of advice, is not to just be driven, but to be called. So Macy, what's yours?
Yeah, I think that's very telling of the community we've built, with the agents and with our staff. And yeah, I mean, that was really good. I think best piece of advice I've ever been given in tandem with a lot of different concepts, but specifically, easy does not mean good.
Yeah.
Suffering produces character. If I would have not hated it at Oracle and not suffered through that, maybe I would have never started working at CAA, where I love my job and I feel very fulfilled. And it's not so driven by, promotion path and me, and, making yourself a god. Like, that's just not fulfilling for me. Yeah. So basically, there's a Bible verse. I'm very open about my faith, but it's Philippians 4:8, and it's kind of envelops the concept of what you consume kind of controls how you act and what you think and what you believe. And so it's along the lines of like, finally, brothers and sisters, think about whatever is just, right, lovely, good to the soul. I feel like I try to be selective with those things to, have a good output. And
which really kind of goes along with why we started this podcast.
Yes.
That's great. I love that.
Full circle.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's our answers to the questions, but we wanted to close with just kind of like what is to come.
What you can look forward to.
Yeah. What to expect. So our episodes will probably come out, every other Wednesday or Thursday. But yeah, we have a lot of exciting guest topics, like we said. It'll be a broad range, but we're excited to be on this journey with you. Obviously, we're not professional podcasters. No. So we're not hiring a company to come.
It is just us.
Like this has been a learning
if y'all
process.
if y'all could see the setup right now, y'all would be cracking up because it is not professional at all.
I might even like take a picture of this and put it in the newsletter or something.
Yeah.
But, no, it's great. And we'll definitely have, you can access this on our website. I'll have a page built for it. Listen on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to a podcast.
And our guests will be hopefully some insurance carrier reps. We want some of y'all on the show, so don't be surprised when you get that email asking if you're available or a phone call.
Yeah.
We'd love to have some of your staff if they're available. We'll have guest spots for probably maybe like a 10-minute conversation, something like that, depending on how in depth the conversation is. It may go longer than 10, but if it's just if it's just a quick little guest spot, then I'm thinking it'll take maybe 10-15 minutes of your time. We're not asking for an hour or anything like that.
Yeah. And again, while we're not professionals, we do have a very vast network of people to help us. So obviously other insurance professionals and also my network at UT, my good friends are all in very different fields. So Emma Dixon is in design, and so she's helped me with our podcast logo and cover. My friend Lana, does photography on the side. She took our pictures. Our pictures for the podcast.
And staff. We're going to have staff on.
Yeah,
so you'll get to meet all the staff members here at CA.
Yes.
Yeah. And AJ and Nikki.
So thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
We're excited.
We're very excited.
Yeah. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.